I frequently get asked, how do I go about making my videos? And I thought, what better way than to show you and explain to you how I'm actually making it. Now, the way that I actually do this setup isn't exactly something that I made. It's something that I've seen other people doing and decided to go about making this thing myself. But what I've actually got in front of me is a glass window, essentially. It's a sheet of glass that I've got inside of a frame. So basically my setup here, and I'm just going to try and illustrate it, I'm not very good at that, but I've basically got this sheet of glass that's standing on a stand here, which I stand behind and draw little crap drawings like this. And I've got a camera that sits over here that's on a stand of its own, a tripod, that films what I'm doing over on this side. And basically it just captures everything inside of this window that I then show to you. But there is a little bit more to that, because if I was just to write on a sheet of glass, even with these fluoro markers that I do use, it wouldn't actually show up or pop very nicely on your screen. So what I've actually got here is a row of LEDs that shine light directly into the glass itself. So it's on the top of the glass, and the LEDs, just pure white LEDs, shine into the glass. And what that does is it refracts inside of the glass and makes the writing that I'm using here of these fluorescent markers really pop out, which is what you see. But given that the camera is over there and I'm over this side of this glass, if I write on this board and don't edit the image at all, such as this word just in here, let's do a test. If I don't edit the image at all, it's going to appear backwards to you. So what I need to do is do what's known as a horizontal flip of this to make everything that I write on here look the right way. To show you what I mean by that, I'm going to zoom the camera out and show you everything of this setup. So now what you can see is this entire setup without any editing whatsoever. So what you can first of all see is the writing is now backwards. So what I do in my editing is I just use a software program to flip or reverse this image horizontally to make everything appear the right way. But what I've actually got that's sitting on top of this glass here underneath this stand is a row of LEDs that shine just up in here and directly into the glass. And what that does is it allows this writing that I put on here to really pop out, and the fluorescent in it really show nicely to the camera. And obviously I've got some lighting over on either side. I've also got a row of LEDs up here to make myself show a little bit more. Now this is something that was homemade. It was something that was a DIY job. That's a big shout out to my dad. He helped me make it. And by help me make it, I mean that he, made the whole thing for me while I was present. But I did paint it. Well, most of it myself. Anyway, but a big shout out to my dad for that. But basically, the person I got an idea off of initially used any kind of clear glass. So this is a really super clear glass, where by super clear, it's got a very low iron content. But the person that I got the idea originally used glass that they got out of either just an old window or glass out of any kind of pool fencing glass, something like that, and shined a row of LEDs into it and then just lit up the person behind it and started filming. I sort of ran with that idea, but I wanted something that I could stand behind quite nicely that was self-supporting, so hence the reason why I've now got this. Now there are a couple of other things to consider. So the background in here, I've just got a sheet, so a black sheet that's hanging up on the wall that blacks out the surroundings here to make things visually pop a little bit more. And the camera itself, it's nicer if you can get one that you can then adjust. So if you look at some of my earlier videos, I was just using a normal everyday camera, camcorder type setup that you couldn't really manually adjust a little bit. I've since upgraded to a Canon 700D, which is a DSLR camera, which allows me to play with the settings a little bit more. Mainly it's the shutter speed that I play around with a little bit, but it allows me to play with the settings a bit to get a nicer image. Keeping in mind that camera technology is still very new for me and self-taught for me over this last couple of years that I've been doing this flip learning style videos. But But yeah, the DSLR camera does bring out a nice image because you can play with the settings a little bit more than you can with a camcorder. So I hope that answers a few questions, at least about how I do this setup. And if you have any other questions, just leave it in the comments below.